Meliodas. Meliodas is the dragon sin of Wrath Shin and captain of the 7 deadly sins, the husband and lover of Elizabeth Lyonesse and her previous incarnations, the owner of the renowned tavern Boar Hat, the current king of Kingdom of Lyonesse, the father of Tristan, and the main protagonist of the series. His sacred treasure is the demon sword Lostvein, and his inherent power is full counter. He was also the head of the 10 Commandments, as Meliodas the Lovegiai no Myriadesu, and a former member of Stigma after his defection from the demon clan. 3,000 years ago. The majority of Meliodas' childhood is unknown, but in the past, Meliodas was trained by Chandler and was the leader of the demon clan's 10 commandments, bestowed with the commandment of love and regarded as the one most likely to become the next demon king, for his strength and ruthlessness. His reputation led to him being greatly feared by the enemies of the demon clan, with even the 4 archangels of the goddess clan fearing and acknowledging his power. He stood as the demon king's favorite son as well as true and worthy heir, renowned as the vilest, evil, and most terrifying demon in all existence, his power second only to the demon king himself. At some point, Meliodas saved Belian from the mightiest of the 4 archangels Mael. Coldly telling the lesser demon to get lost and calling him a hindrance, Meliodas paid him not even a single glance and proceeded to battle, which forced Mael to retreat. Later, Meliodas met a young Merlin and saved her from the wizards of her birthplace who were chasing her for running away. Meliodas frequently took care of Merlin during her solitude, yet never returned the child's feeling of love. Upon meeting and falling in love with the goddess Elizabeth, Meliodas chose her over his clan, abandoning his title as leader of the 10 Commandments as well as his commandment, officially betraying them in the process. Meliodas was confronted by his younger brother, Zeldris, before his desertion, to which Meliodas offers him to leave with him along with Gelda, but Zeldris, tied to his loyalty and to his love for the vampire woman, rejects him, affirming that he no longer considers him his brother, something he would later come to regret. Meliodas finally flees from the demon realm after killing 2 of the 10 Commandments, Aranak and Zeno, during his escape. This power imbalance he created led to the Holy War, a war he at some point decided to participate in, siding with his new allies of the goddess clan and their allies, the giants, fairies, and humans. He fought alongside the goddess Elizabeth, Droll, and Gloxinia, as part of Stigma, until the fairy and giant kings eventually defected to the demon clan for their own reasons. At some point, he also battled with Zeldris, with the outcome being unknown. During the war, Meliodas became friends with a human named Ro. That same day, Ladoshal carried out his plan to eliminate the 10 Commandments using innocent demons as live bait to drive them out. Meliodas, together with Droll and Gloxinia, arrived at the battle that had been unleashed between the Commandments and the Archangels. Meliodas then freed Elizabeth from the Ark where she had been locked up. When Elizabeth decides to save Durairi and Monspeet when they become Enduras, Meliodas prevents Ladoshal from stopping her. As a result of the forbidden spell used by Galver, the memories of the Meliodas were altered to believe that the Archangel Mael was his younger brother, Esterasa, who was supposedly given a commandment by his father because of his cowardice and who was born without the power of darkness. During the last days of the war, the rulers of the demons and goddesses and their parents, the demon king and the supreme deity, had both had enough of the defiance of their children and temporarily put their rivalry aside and worked together to punish Meliodas and Elizabeth. Personally confronted by his godlike father, Meliodas could do nothing against the demon king and was effortlessly overpowered and killed alongside Elizabeth, who was confronted and equally hopeless against the supreme deity. However, their punishment was far worse than death. The supreme deity cursed Meliodas with immortality as his punishment, reviving him every time he died in exchange for his emotions being consumed more and more until returned to be the bloodthirsty demon he once was. The demon king cursed Elizabeth with perpetual reincarnation, forcing her to live human lives in which she would always reunite with Meliodas and die right before his eyes, over and over again. While not knowing why he survived unscathed from their battle, he saw Elizabeth dead and cried out as he held her corpse. With the war over, he wandered a shattered Britannia and eventually came across a human girl from a savage tribe who looked like Elizabeth, minus the wings. Although she did not remember it, Meliodas became very close to her, and one day she regained the powers of her previous life. When Meliodas told her about it, the girl recovered all her memories. Soon though, Meliodas learned of the curses they were been placed under and promised her that he would work to release them, and watched Elizabeth die again. Since then, Meliodas continued to meet and fall in love with Elizabeth's reincarnations, getting to know all of them. Because of the curse of the demon king, Meliodas saw each of them die before his eyes. One of them was a child who died in a house fire after getting her memories back, and another was a young lady who died of old age without ever remembering anything, passing on peacefully. 27 years ago. He would continue this cycle for almost 3,000 years until he went to and was employed into the service of the Holy Knights of the Kingdom of Danafor. There, he had a brief encounter with Merlin, hoping she could give him a way to break the curse. When she suggests releasing the 10 Commandments to use the power that Zeldris borrowed from the Demon King, Meliodas refuses to know the danger he would represent and that Zeldris would never agree to help him. It was in Danafor that Meliodas eventually met a slave girl named Liz from an enemy kingdom of Danafor, later revealed to be a reincarnation of Elizabeth. Subsequently, sentenced to death, Meliodas set her free and personally offered to fight on her behalf if anyone objected. He later took Liz to his house where they lived together, often groping her chest, to which she reacted violently. Later, Liz grew closer to Meliodas and became his lover, with him calling her the most important person to him. However, Frodrin managed to escape his sealing after the people of Danafor broke the seal, and he eventually attacked Danafor, nearly destroying it in his attempt to open the coffin of eternal darkness. Frodrin murdering Liz right in front of Meliodas left the latter enraged. Meliodas later apologized to Liz for not saving her, but Liz told him that they would meet again and to not forget what they fought for. After seeing Liz die, Meliodas' rage caused his immense power to go out of control. This explosion of power wiped Danafor off of the face of the world and critically injured Frodrin, leaving him at the brink of death. After this, Meliodas found the dragon handle and the baby that was the reincarnated Liz. The couple is discovered by the great holy knight Zaratras, who tries to help them, but Meliodas warns him to not touch his woman. When the baby Elizabeth was adopted by the King Bartra Leoness, Meliodas requests to become a Leoness holy knight to stay close to her, convincing Zaratras of this by effortlessly defeating him in a sword fight. At some point, Bartra had a premonition of the creation of the 7 deadly sins. Therefore, using the prophecy as a guide, Merlin appears, revealing that she already found all the members, including Meliodas and herself. Meliodas decides to unite all of them to defeat the 10 Commandments if the goddess clan's seal was ever broken. At some point in time, Meliodas, intending to recruit Ban, arrived at the convict cell where he was warned by the guards of Ban's immortality. Ban, believing that another execution was to be performed, stated that he would merely sit as he was executed, only to find out that a child had entered. Ban refused to join Meliodas, and, to Meliodas' declaration that he will then take him out by force, engages him in battle. Their battle resulted in Ban being punched out of his cell, and Ban, having become extremely excited, requests that the battle be continued. Meliodas responds that to do so, Ban would have to join him, with Ban grinning widely at the invitation. Meliodas also recruits King after he was arrested for false crimes, telling him that he is a wonderful king for sacrificing himself for his people. 26 years ago. When the deadly sins were not yet formed, Meliodas finds Diane being bothered by a group of knights called the Knights of the Golden Wheats. After he arrives and knocks one out, both the knights and Diane tell Meliodas to leave. The knights also say that Meliodas should not help Diane since she is a monster, to which Meliodas responds that it was wrong for them to pick on a girl. He defeats them all with ease after the rude comments. Meliodas later asks Diane if she had been frightened, which surprised her since she was bigger than him. This eventually led to her falling in love with him due to his kindness and treating her like she was a normal person. After Diane got arrested by the Holy Knights, Meliodas frees her by the order of King Bartra. At some point during this period, Gauther is also recruited into the 7 deadly sins. However, the exact details of his recruitment, as well as whether he was recruited by Meliodas himself or by Merlin, are currently unknown. Also, around this time, Meliodas and Merlin meet Ascaner and convince him to join as the final member of the sins, although the two were forced to restrain him by order of the king to stop his havoc. Meliodas made sure that Leoness exculpated Ascaner for terrorizing the villages, hurting the Holy Knights, and disrespecting King Baltra. However, Ascaner did not feel able to join them because his lack of control with his power only harmed those around him. Hearing him say that he thinks he deserves only to die, Meliodas tells Ascaner that they would have a fight at noon to decide that he will join the sins if he loses. Although Ascaner reaches the pinnacle of his power at noon, Meliodas manages to defeat him by releasing his assault mode. Meliodas then tells him that he feels pain because he is alive because Rosa saved him by sacrificing her own life, but if he wants to die so badly then there is no point in speaking to an arrogant dead man. Ascaner finally tells him that he wants to live, to which Meliodas tells him that if he can't keep those thoughts in check, he will be there to do it instead. Meliodas would fight with Ascaner multiple times after this so that he would learn to control his power. With this, the formation of the 7 deadly sins becomes complete, with the sins becoming the highest order of knights in the kingdom of Leoness, answering directly to the king himself, and also to the great holy knight, Zaratras, with the Great Holy Knight being their only superior besides the king himself. After the formation of the 7 deadly sins, Meliodas and his team participated in various missions, a notable one being to purge the kingdom of Edinburgh after it was invaded by the vampire clan. 23 years ago, he and the deadly sins head out to the kingdom to stop them from spreading further. However, Meliodas soon orders Diane, King, Gauther, and Ban to go on ahead while he and Merlin get a skeiner to join the fight. The deadly sins and holy knights were surprised by Meliodas' decision to bring in a skeiner. Thanks to Merlin's teleportation, Meliodas and Escaner end up at Edinburgh. Meliodas carries Escaner's sacred treasure, Rita, as Escaner was in his night mode. Meliodas tries to encourage Escaner to have more confidence in himself, but he soon started to cry and apologizes for being so weak. The two soon become separated and Meliodas meets Ren and Gelda. The three fought one another as Ren believed Meliodas to be his brother, Zeldris, who sealed them away long ago. Gelda soon burned Ren alive and revealed that she knew Meliodas is not Zeldris. Revealing her story to the dragon Sin of Wrath, Gelda wishes to die, knowing that there's no purpose left for her in this world anymore since Zeldris is gone. Meliodas seemingly granted her wish and killed the vampire in a massive burst that resulted in a hole 30,000 feet deep in the earth, but Meliodas sealed her again. At one point in time, the Sins were resting after defeating a tyrant dragon when Ban took an interest in Meliodas' broken blade and attempts to steal it. The latter uses his mysterious Hellblaze to give Ban a scar that can never heal despite his regenerative abilities. Later, Meliodas met Dreyfus and Hendrickson while eating after training with his fellow Sins and commented that their superior, Zaratras, was invincible. Hendrickson responds to the claim by saying he was being modest. Meliodas compliments Dreyfus's sword skill, which made the latter happy and begins to respect the captain of the 7 deadly sins. 22 years ago, when the trolls and their queen came and attacked Ister, Meliodas and the other sins went in place of Hendrickson to take charge. The druid heads Jenna and Zeneri immediately recognize him as a member of the demon clan and threaten to expose him. However, Meliodas also realizes they are part of the goddess clan, so both parties decide to keep the identity of the other secret. Although Jenna refused to trust Meliodas, Zeneri accepts that they helped them with the trolls that had taken control of the altar of Ister. Once they cross the spring to enter the underground cave where the altar is, Meliodas and Ban compete over who will fight a troll and kill it by accident. Seeing how strange magic leaves the body of the troll, Meliodas realizes that it is the power of a goddess. When Jenna and Zeneri appear after following them, Meliodas saves Zeneri from the attack of another troll and tells them both that it is better for them to leave, because the trolls are being controlled by a goddess. When Meliodas reaches the altar, everything is revealed to be the work of a goddess, Gelamet, who took possession of the troll queen's body and brainwashed the other trolls to take over the altar and take advantage of the connection of it with the celestial realm to free the goddesses and take control of Britannia. Both Meliodas and Gelamet recognize each other as the son of the demon king and Elizabeth's old friend. Gelamet declares her intentions to kill Meliodas and take his head to Elizabeth, but Zeneri tries to reason with her. However, Gelamet dismisses her and Jenna as defectors and uses Job no Shirin to steal Zeneri's voice and Jenna's sight. Meliodas orders that she undo her magic and hit her with a simple clap that sends her flying. Gelamet manages to use Arc, but Meliodas only insists that he release Jenna and Zeneri. Gelamet refuses to accuse them both of treason for defecting and protecting him, crying out for her hatred towards Meliodas because of Mael's death. Zeneri manages to attack Gelamet with a lightning bolt that frees Meliodas from the Arc, who asks her forgiveness for not being able to stop the holy war. There, Escaner appears and when she feels his magic, Gelamet confuses him with Mael. However, seeing that it is Escaner, Gelamet understands that it is not Mael. Escaner tries to kill her, but Meliodas stops him. There, Gelamet assumes that Mael died. Thus, Gelamet leaves the Troll Queen's body and decides to return to the celestial realm and sleep alongside her brethren until the time her heart is relieved of grief. Despite recovering the altar, Diane and the other sins appear and destroy it, wanting to end the Troll Queen. 21 years ago, before they were infamously framed, Meliodas was training Gilthunder until Gilthunder grew upset as he believed he would never become as strong as the deadly sins or his father, but Meliodas told him to ditch his negative attitude and Margaret came and told him, the way of the knight, creed. Margaret told Gilthunder that he should be himself, and not like the deadly sins or his father, and she believed that Gilthunder would be the kindest and strongest holy knight someday, which cheered up Gilthunder. However, the next day Gilthunder came running toward Meliodas and told him to run away with the others. Meliodas was lost at Gilthunder and told him to explain everything, but Gil Thunder told him something terrible was coming, and if he told anybody, bad things would happen, and Gil Thunder had no idea what to do. Meliodas told Gil Thunder to calm down by hitting his head and asked him what he wanted to do, to which Gil Thunder answered that he needed to protect Margaret, but had no idea how to do it. Meliodas taught him a charm that could cheer him up whenever he felt sad or terrible, which was to say out loud that he was stronger than any of the 7 deadly sins. Gil Thunder said it, to which Meliodas pointed out that he should feel better soon. Meliodas embraced Gil Thunder, told him he should not cry, and if he were in trouble, he would come to his aid. When they were still an active and commended group of knights, they supposedly summoned to an old castle after defeating the Troll Queen and destroying the great Druid altar. As the sins were inside the castle, they discussed among themselves the reason behind the order they received, as Meliodas complained that they should be attending Lyonesse National Foundation Day Festival and go drinking only for King to remind his captain that he was always drinking anyway. After Diane and Merlin speculated whether their superior might reward or scold them for their last mission, Meliodas had already decided that it was a scolding and reminded his team to attend the festival later, much to his team's chagrin. As they entered the room, they discovered the great holy knight, Zarathustra, completely skewered to death. Soon, they were framed for the murder and then surrounded by over 300 knights of the kingdom. As the Lyonesse holy knights attacked the castle, Meliodas gave his team his last orders, to disperse and regroup later to figure out the cause of Zarathustra's death, which everyone obeyed and separated while fighting their way out. In the aftermath, a little girl tries to help the deadly sins to escape, but end up getting heavily injured and leading to Meliodas unleash his rage once more, but soon knocked out by Merlin and sealed away his strength. But Meliodas soon forgot the event, which leads him to suspect the existence of a traitor. Once Meliodas awoke, he came to meet Hawk within a cave that was close by to Camelot, as the two ended up speaking with one another, where Hawk mentions that he felt like he used to fly in the sky, thinking he was a dragon back in his past life when Meliodas thought he was Wandel. The two argued over Hawk's name until Hawk mentioned a restaurant named Pig Leg where Hawk loved the leftover, which led Meliodas and Hawk to team up and work together since Meliodas cannot work as a knight anymore. They decided to open a bar on Hawk Mama's back, named Boar Hat, after the restaurant Hawk mentioned, by having Meliodas sell his sacred treasure, which he felt bad about since King Bartra had given him this weapon. Since then, Hawk and Meliodas have become business partners, Meliodas being the owner while Hawk is the cleaner, as he could eat the leftovers. Abilities and equipment. Meliodas' skill in battle and power are legendary. He was the captain of the legendary 7 deadly sins, and when he was a member of the demon clan, Meliodas reigned supreme once as the leader of the 10 commandments and the only worthy heir to the throne of the demon king, greatly feared by the enemies of the demon clan and even other demons alike, considered to be the most powerful demon second only to the demon king, so powerful that the demon Gauther stated his betrayal alone caused the balance of power between the goddess and demon clans to tilt in the favor of the former and allow them to start the holy war, forcing Gauther, as a last resort, to convert Male, the strongest member of the goddess clan, into Estarasa of the demon clan in an attempt to regain the advantage over the goddess clan. Like all members of the demon clan, he is capable of manifesting their mysterious power of darkness, which he can use and morph into various shapes for a variety of purposes, such as forming wings to fly, reattaching limbs, and mostly enhancing both his physical and magical abilities. He is also knowledgeable of demonic enchantments. He is most well known for his skills with the sword and for his pure physical prowess, but he also has incredible magical abilities, notably his virtual immunity to magic attacks through with his ability Full Counter. An example of his immense combat skills was when he overwhelmed both the ancient fairy and giant kings, Gloxinia and Droll, simultaneously. The most noteworthy display of his outstanding fighting prowess and power was when Meliodas's emotions, upon becoming serious, could defend himself against his father for a brief period before being quickly subdued. When recovering the power taken from him by Merlin, the amount of darkness released from the goddess Amber was enough to blot out the sky, and the subsequent aftershock from Ister could be felt from Edinburgh almost 100 kilometers away. Before the start of the series, his power was intense enough to destroy the entire kingdom of Danafor. Merlin, feeling his power was too vast and dangerous for him to control, stole most of it before he could do the same to the kingdom of Lyonesse. Even with most of his power taken, however, he still had a power level of more than 10 times the standard for a holy knight of Lyonesse. With his power returned, he can easily fight on par with and defeat members of the legendary 10 Commandments, even despite it only being a fraction of his original power during the Holy War. After saving several villagers, it is said by Ban that Meliodas is as strong as ever, but that his power was different back during the defense of Lyonesse. After unleashing his full demonic powers in a desperate attempt to break free of Melascula's Anton no Mayu, Meliodas regains the power he had when he was the leader of 10 commandments, attaining his assault mode. He easily outmatched Escaner in their fight despite his power increasing every second to the point that Diane noted he was toying with the sin of pride, remaining almost completely unharmed by his attacks, being defeated only when Escaner reached the peak of his powers as the one, though Zeldris would state it was due to Meliodas still underestimating Escaner. Even after being badly injured and almost sliced in half by Escaner, moments later, Meliodas was able to quickly recover, only being stopped by Merlin's timely interference. Even while unconscious, his aura was already so immensely powerful and dark to cause even Escaner as well as post-trial King and Diane to feel sick around him. Later, upon reawakening, he effortlessly pinned down both Zeldris and Esterasa, with not even the Demon King's power allowing Zeldris to move the slightest and soon subduing Esterasa completely as well, all the while also immobilizing Cusack. When attacked again, he effortlessly overtook and restrained Zeldris while simultaneously protecting Elizabeth from Esterasa. He also effortlessly survived unscathed by the attacks of Arthur wielding Excalibur, and his aura was easily powerful enough to intimidate the spirits inside the Holy Sword to submission. His power is so great that it eclipses even the mighty 4 archangels, as Esterasa himself openly said that if he could not defeat Sariel and Tarmiel of the 4 archangels, he would have no chance to defeat Meliodas. Like his younger brothers, he also can remove commandments with Jikai, having stolen Greyroads while Merlin was unconscious. He is also capable of performing a ritual to absorb the 10 commandments and is the only one apart from Zeldris able to survive to take in more than one commandment, as shown when he had begun absorbing 5 of the commandments, although to completely absorb several commandments would take more time to the point that 5 commandments would take half a day to be fully absorbed. According to Meliodas, once he has absorbed all the commandments, which is half of the Demon King's power, he will become so powerful that he will be as powerful as the Demon King and thus making him capable of breaking the curse on Elizabeth. While absorbing the commandments, Meliodas produced an almost impenetrable field of darkness surrounding him, which Merlin stated she could do nothing to destroy, needing Ladoshal's sanctuary along with the Melascula's commandment that Merlin hold, being pulled towards Meliodas to be able to enter. Only the original demon could dispel the space. Ladoshal states that if Meliodas become the new Demon King, then all of the forces of Stigma would certainly be defeated with the Supreme Deity now being unable to help them. After successfully absorbing all of the commandments, Meliodas has become Demon King, therefore increasing his powers to the same godly levels as his father possesses. His extraordinary magical power completely clouds the entire environment in darkness and leaves all the 7 deadly sins, Male, Ladoshal, and Elizabeth in absolute awe and sweating. Meliodas has been afflicted with a curse by the Demon King as punishment for falling in love with a goddess and killing and betraying his demonic brethren that revives him without fail no matter how many times he dies, whether via killing himself or getting killed. It additionally prevents him from dying of old age, effectively keeping him immortal. However, upon each revival, he slowly loses some of his emotions in exchange, slowly returning to his former self. The curse can last permanently, and the only way to lift it is for someone with power rivaling that of the Demon King and Supreme Deity to lift it. During the Holy War, Meliodas claims that, while escaping from purgatory, he achieved the necessary means to break both curses. Then, after the Demon King was expelled from his body, Meliodas finally destroyed both curses, freeing himself and Elizabeth once and for all. Due to the awakening of his original power, Meliodas became the new Demon King on his own, and as such, he cannot stay in the mortal plane due to his massive power, which causes irregular weather phenomena across the 4 corners of Britannia from just being there. However, Meliodas sacrificed his godly power to cancel out the commandments in order to prevent his father from ever returning again, and thus lost his new power and was able to remain in Britannia once again. Abilities: Full Counter Furicanta. This ability allows Meliodas to reflect magic attacks aimed at him, back at the enemy, but with much greater power. Therefore, the stronger the opponent's powers are, the rebound becomes. A prime drawback is that Meliodas cannot initiate attacks himself. He is also incapable of reflecting attacks if the opponent does not allow him to read the timing/nature of their attacks. Physical, indirect, and continuous attacks can also not be reflected. The Demon King stated that the technique is merely an imitation of Chandler's technique and that his original magic power is something different. Hellblaze Hariburizu, literally meaning hellfire, a mysterious ability displayed by Meliodas that allows him to generate black flames. The technique also has the additional effect of nullifying an immortal's regeneration, as shown when he used it against Ban. Assault Mode Asarudo Modo. This state is reached when Meliodas unleashes his demon powers to the fullest, achieving immense powers. This form also allows Meliodas to access his full power. According to Melascula, back in the days when Meliodas was in command of the 10 Commandments, even they were in fear of him while in this mode. The drawback is that it temporarily robs Meliodas of all his feeling and emotions, causing him to revert to how he was before he betrayed the demon clan. Kami Chijiri, literally meaning, thousand divine slayer, Meliodas cuts his opponent with his sword a total of 1,000 times in an instant. Trillion Dark Terrarian Daku, Meliodas launches a barrage of small spheres of high concentrated darkness at the opponent. Shurden Isin Shiden Isin, literally meaning, purple lightning slash, Meliodas slashes multiple opponents several times with his sword in an instant. Dark Prominence Daku Puromanensu, literally meaning, dark star, Meliodas infuses his sword with the power of darkness and performs a powerful slash. Combined Techniques. Combined Technique, Kamigi, literally meaning, God Eater. After his sword is infused with Elizabeth's arc, Meliodas cuts his opponent a total of 1,000 times in an instant. Combined Technique, Tyrant Killing Gogi Taranto Kiringu, Meliodas and Zeldris attack the enemy with their swords imbued in the power of darkness. Commandment. As the former leader of the 10 Commandments, Meliodas was the original wielder of the commandment of Lovegiai, which was bestowed upon him by the Demon King. Those who would stand before him with hatred in their hearts will be rendered powerless to harm or inflict damage on anyone else. To ally himself with the goddess clan, he willingly abandoned his commandment during his betrayal of the demon clan. Due to Gauther's forbidden spell, the Demon King gave the commandment to his supposed second son, Esterasa, who was male turned into a demon due to the commandment given to him and thus making it look like the former killed the latter. After completing the ritual to become Demon King via absorption of all the commandments, Meliodas held all 10 commandments, but upon forcing the Demon King out of his body, the commandments were also forced out. Weapons. Giant Broadsword. Meliodas used this sword in the Holy War 3,000 years ago, also used it when he was the leader of the 10 Commandments. The sword is at least twice the size of Meliodas. It was broken in the battle Meliodas and the goddess Elizabeth fought and lost against the Demon King and the Supreme Deity. The sword did not show any traits of being able to use an ability like a sacred treasure. Dragon Handle. Meliodas used this broken sword in conjunction with Full Counter. The sword also appears to have abilities of its own and is one of the keys to the Coffin of Eternal Darkness. Liz's Sword. Once Meliodas regained his lover's sword, Liz, Meliodas started using it after his dragon handle was stolen. It also works in conjunction with Full Counter. It was broken during Meliodas' fight with an Albion. Lost Vein. As a member of the 7 deadly sins, Meliodas possesses a sacred treasure. Lost Vein is a demon-splitting sword, which he sold at a pawn shop in Camelot for money to fund the boar hat 10 years ago. It is later returned to him by Merlin, who is revealed to have purchased the sword and kept it safe all this time. Its ability Jitsuzo Bunshin is compatible with Meliodas' Full Counter, allowing him to use it as much more dangerous levels. Bone Sword. In Purgatory, Meliodas' emotions created a sword, made with the bones of the indigenous species, with a single-edged long blade. The blade is compatible with Meliodas' Full Counter. Power Level. Meliodas' power level increases in stages as the story progresses and is increased further whenever he utilizes his demon powers. Using Lost Vein, Meliodas can create a clone with a maximum power level of half of his power level. Creating more clones will cause that power to be equally distributed among them. Meliodas' power level at the start of the series, after having most of his power stolen by Merlin, is as follows. Normal. Total 3,370. Magic 400. Strength 960. Spirit 2010. Demon Mark. Total 4,400. Berserk. Total 10,300. After having his power restored, his power levels are as follows. Normal. Total 32,500. Magic 2,700. Strength 27,700. Spirit 2,100. Demon Mark. Total 56,000. Magic 3,000. Strength 50,000. Spirit 3,000. After his revival, his power levels are as follows. Normal. Total 60,000. Assault Mode. Total 142,000.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.